Hello and welcome back to another episode of Coast Football Weekly. This week we celebrate Female Football Week, and what better guest than someone who has dedicated decades to the game here on the Central Coast. Welcome to the pod, Di Fathers.
Thanks, buddy. How you going?
Good, thanks. So what first drove you to football and how long have you been involved in the game?
My sister-in-law Cheryl played at Edlong back in the early 80s, probably when I first met her, about 1979. And my youngest brother Andrew, started playing. Girls couldn't play soccer until they were 10, older than 10 on the Central Coast. So I had to wait and play netball until then. And watching Cheryl and my brother play, I just wanted to play. So 1982 was the first year that I strapped on the boots and went to Wyoming and played at Wyoming. Since 1982 I've been hanging around the grounds.
Been involved in the game ever since?
Yep, been involved, ever since. So from up until playing, I played up until 2006. Hung up the gloves. My son Michael plays for Woy Woy as well. So my focus was on him when he was at East Gossard. He was playing a lot of higher level football, so it was just concentrate on him. Mm-hmm. So Michael is now probably the reason why I'm still in the game, to be honest, and just the passion to try and drive women's football. Back
then, did you think you would still be involved all these years later?
No, not in the capacity I am now.
Yeah.
Knowing my body now, it purely aches. I still want to play, but I just can't.
Yeah.
You got to use a bit of common sense and go, if you're aching every morning when you're waking up and you've got arthritic fingers, you don't play football anymore. So I just put all my passion into the club now, my club at Woy Woy. And previously it was the passion on the board, like how can we improve things? And so that's where my focus is now.
What was the reason behind that transition? Was it just a natural stepping away from the game, but I want to be involved? Did you have any role models that sort of led you to becoming?
My family basically ran Central Coast Women's Soccer Association back in the 80s. My second brother, Jeff, was the president for several years. My brother, Norm, is a life member of Central Coast Women's Soccer Association. My dad, my late father, was also the president for a couple of years, and my youngest brother, Andrew, as well, was involved, and both my sister-in-laws played. So it was very father's heavy, for want of a bit of a word, but we all just got in and did it. And that's, I think, the volunteering part of it, that's what's instilled in you. As a person, you see your parents helping people and you see the effects that they've had on those around you. And like, if you speak to some of the girls that I played with back then, they all have fond memories of coming down to Fagan Park. That's where all the women played, and my whole entire family would be there, and all the Butler family would be there. So it was, that's where the passion comes from, and the drive to want to volunteer.
And reflecting more as a player, is there any stories that come to mind or good memories that
heaps
you'd like to share?
Well, the joys of playing at Fagan Park was that we turned up 8 o'clock in the morning. The last game was at 3. We all knew each other. I got to play with Renee Isarif, as everyone knows, Matilda. She was a Matilda, part of the alumni, Sharon Dewar, Coach Caskel, before she took the trip down the freeway to Sydney. Played with Lisa Van Dorp, Lisa Power, Karina Wilkinson. So that all those girls that played at a much higher level, we got to play with those. So whether it was against them or for them. Memories, winning a national title in 1987 in Brisbane was huge. I was only just turned 16. And then the same year we won the premiership against a very strong Ocean Beach side when I was at Wyoming. So that's something that really sticks. But, there's heaps.
Countless of memories.
Heaps and heaps, captaining the state side, like all those little talent identification squads. Like that's just like I can make a book, but those 3 are probably the biggest ones, yeah.
Speaking more on the women's game, what are the sort of the main differences now for women who obviously playing compared to back when you started? Obviously, you said you could only start playing when you're 10.
Yeah, so there's no mini-roos. There was no – you just basically went in and started playing under 15s. There was no age groups per se. It was just you played 15s up to 15 years old, and then you jumped into women's all age. So I started playing women's all age at 14 and because I was a goalkeeper, so I was thrown into the deep end. But the competitions were very strong. It was a very strong competition. some clubs struggled, like we had Berkeley Vale and would get tailed up every weekend.
Yep.
It would be a huge scoreline, but gradually they got stronger because girls would go to that club or they would like the culture there, so they would go there. The game was a lot different back then. It was very based on attacking. It was everything attacking. You never play back.
Right.
The only person that got the ball back was me because I could pick it up.
Yeah.
Now it's more around the expansion of the game, the age groups, like I was saying, and the higher level of football is the same level as it was back then.
Yeah.
When I was speaking to Renee, when she gives out her medal at the presentation day on grand final day, it's she said to me, some of these girls could play against us back then. But there's differences. It's hard to compare
And the game's
apples and
changed a
oranges
lot, yeah.
because it changes a lot. Skill levels are different. The coaching is a lot different now. It's more derived around skill based, where it was just you got the ball. It was the old saying, girls football was just kick and chase.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't kick and chase. It was more of a creative attacking game, and when you got tackled, you knew you got tackled.
Yeah.
So it was. I think it was a lot firmer back then. Not that women's football is soft now; it's more creative.
And as a 14-year-old playing all age, how was that?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yep,
Not
loved
nervous
it.
at all when
No.
No.
I was lucky enough that my brother was on the sideline, or brothers are on the sideline, which probably made my life a lot harder, to be honest. But no, it was, full on adrenaline packed, especially when you played against Renee or Sharon, because Renee was up front. So she's a striker, and I'm a 14-year-old girl who idolised, and I still do. And I tell Renee this all the time, and I knew straight away when she was going to lob me, and you think it was going to go out and it would just drop.
Yeah.
And I just stand there and go like,
clap your hands. Yeah.
I sometimes I just clap, and she'd come up to me and pat me on the back, but there was nothing to be nervous about. It was just full on. Just you get out there and give it your best, because that was what it was, and we all knew each other.
Yeah.
So if anything, like there was only one bad incident, or a couple, but nothing that was ever going to be a problem. It was you let it be, and you walked away. So, but the little girls knew the older girls because we went everywhere together. So that was the difference.
And what do you think some of the biggest challenges now are these days for players and even volunteers?
Time. Time is a big problem. Challenges. Facilities is a massive issue. With the lack of double change rooms, female-focused facilities, I hate not being able to have females getting changed in a change room where they can feel safe and secure and not be looked at or anything, like where the men have the ability to go in the change room and they just automatically take over the change room. But that's just how it's been, because that's the culture. You get in, you get changed, and you can go out. And the girls are just stuck on the sideline, or have to go and use a toilet to get changed.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest challenge I think at the moment. And I think probably the other challenge too is it's just getting fields. It's just becoming smaller and smaller and smaller because we're expanding so quickly.
So much.
I think it's just space.
I mean, the women's game is growing so much, especially with the rise of the Matildas. I think we're seeing it in our registration numbers. They're just going up and up and up. Well,
even with us, like this year, which I was so proud about, we got 2 mini Rouge teams for the girls. We've got a 6 and a 7. We tried to get a 35s. We just missed the cutoff. But that alone, like, our numbers have gone up. Substantially especially for the mini Rouge. But for like the game itself, when Central Coast Football first brought on the 35s, it was just like we thought it would be a few teams. Now it's 3 grades.
And they all love it.
There's a Friday night. Granted, it can get freezing cold, and it can get. But I've been here for the last 2 grand finals, and that's they just love it. And that was the best thing coming out of the women's committee, the standing committee that we had, and I took care of, was that we had all these ideas that we can create different things that women can be a part of, and that women's 35 competition is probably the best thing that's come out of it, because it just gives mums the opportunity to have a game. Like, even if they're former players, brand new to the game, they take their kids to soccer on a Saturday, they take their daughters to a game on a Sunday, or their sons on a Sunday. They don't get an opportunity. So it's like the 35 men. The 35 men started on a Friday night, and now it's on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, can we afford for it to keep expanding? That's the $1 million question. I think we're just going to need more grounds with lights.
Did you ever think the game would, especially in a female space, grow to where it is today?
Back then, no, because the exposure was so minimal.
Yeah.
We were lucky to have our own association, so we had our own voice.
Yep.
And in every association, women's association, there was a specific state body. So that state body would look after. So Northern New South Wales, back in the 80s, we were in Northern New South Wales' boundaries. So we had a women's association, had the women's state body. And then Australian Women's Soccer Association was there to look after the whole body itself. So, yeah, it was – I think back then it was just a lot easier to have a say and be heard, whereas now – we're kind of like enveloped into things, and the women don't feel like they've got a voice, because everything seems to be derived around what the men do. And I don't like comparing the women to the men, because it's a different game. Physicality can be the same. Like women's Premier League games, you can go and watch women's A-League. You can watch some of those tackles are pretty firm. But, yeah, the challenges are going to be facilities, sponsorship is a huge problem, because even at a national level, it's who is getting their focus purely. Like the Matildas should be pulling in heaps of money, but they're not, because everything goes up to the Socceroos, which is wrong. Like, it shouldn't be that way. If they're getting more exposure,
more attention,
they're getting the sales. People are going and buying magazines. My office had. All the girls in the office have posters up in Kenzie Arnold on one side and the team on another side. Like, that's what it was all about. You don't see that with the Socceroos. And I think the national body really needs to really take a long, hard look at themselves and go, where are we going wrong here? We should be jumping on the ride like we have here at Central Coast Football.
Yep.
Jump on the ride and market it to the point where we can get more money in for the game and start pushing it down, filter it down, not bottom feed. And that's the biggest problem, I think, when it comes, especially women's football. It's just the facilities, money, exposure.
And now, life as a volunteer. This year, you are president of Woi Woi. Yep. How's that treating you?
Yeah, it's not too bad so far. I kind of like had a discussion with Donna Foster, who was last year's president, and outgoing Secretary Katrina Hogan, and said, look, have you got anyone in mind? And she's like, no, we've got no one in mind. So I thought, well, I'm just going to have to do it. Like, we could call on, I spoke to Wade Butler, who's my vice president, and I said to him, what are you going to do? He had no time to step up and take it over. So he made the decision to step down from the board and not run again last year, which was a hard decision. I've really enjoyed my time on the board for the last 3 years. But the last, probably just before the AGM, I started working with Tom Macerella, who's our technical director and also looks after partnerships and build a strategic plan. So we've ticked a lot of boxes on that in the last 6 months. So increase women's participation, increased our sponsorship, looked at increasing our changing our club room, applying for more grants. So it's been a ride.
Work in progress.
Work in progress. It's a lot of time you have to put into it. My life is hectic as it is. Throwing in being a president of the club, but Woy Football Club is an awesome club. It's very small. It's very family orientated, very community focused. We look after our kids, especially the mini roos. We've got a lot of mini roos this year. I've got an awesome committee. There are only like 2 committee members left over from last season. So I've basically got a brand new executive that are brand new to volunteering in the space of football. And I've got a groundsman. The first time ever we've had a groundsman that Rob takes care of everything for us. So we're small, but we're a tight group of people that really want to see the club become more, grow back. I don't think it'll be at the size where it used to be because you got to remember we've got Southern Year Minor. You can throw a hanky over. It's kind of like the Golden Triangle up here at East Gosford and that. But I think if we can just sustain what we've got and utilise the family focus coming through, I think we can get back. Probably our focus is to get up to about 450, 500 members in the next 5 years. So fingers crossed we can do it. We're at 307, I think, this year. So we're up from 275 last year.
And it is Female Football Week this week.
Yep.
How is Woy celebrating Female Football Week?
We're having a what they call a Woy Joy skills clinic on Thursday for our little girls. So they're all been invited to attend. That will be coached by our Women's Division 1 girls, as long as Stu Meany, who's our Mini Roos coordinator, also holds an A licence, which is also a joy to have at the club. And there'll be prizes and participation awards and things afterwards. So that's our main focus, is to get that to the girls and give them out their little packs and things like that. So, yeah, that's our main focus. But the other thing we're focusing on is our Club Changer Star too. So that's our main focus for this week, is how can we obtain that star? What do we have to do as a club to make women's football more attractive to Woy Football Club? Because it has been an issue. The focus was on men's football for way too long, and then the victim of all that has been women's football. So we've got to try and hold on what we've got in the juniors, get them through, and then attract players back. So it's just how we do it. And it comes down to sponsorship. Right? And that's where we struggle. Again, being next to Southern and next to Umina, trying to get sponsors that are already on board with another club, they just don't want to know about you. So Tom is pretty good. He's good on the chat. So he's got Star FM on board this year, so which has been good for us. So we got some exposure at the beginning of the year. So just trying to find our niche, and we're going with the community-based club.
And how important is it for a club to have that culture to sort of keep the girls and women involved and playing football?
Massive. If you don't have a culture where there's inclusivity, where a player can feel safe, regardless of who they are, you lose them. Women's football can be a game of yes and no. If girls aren't happy, they'll leave. And that's through no fault of their own. If they're not feeling included, if they see the boys are getting something and they're not getting it, they'll either tell you or they won't. Yeah. And when they won't tell you, that's when they'll go. Yeah. So it's about communication. If you had that very strong line of communication with them, making sure they know how things are going, what they need, not what they want, but what they need. So whether it's, do you need more kit? Do you need women's cut? Like a lot of the girls like wearing women's cut shirts. Yeah. Some of them do, some of them don't. But if you offer it to them, and a lot of clubs don't, but a lot of clubs are starting to feel to think, this is what they really want. Yeah. Just stupid little things like...
Just goes a long way.
Like sanitary bins in toilets. It seems to be so like, why would they need that? But that's inclusivity. But that's, when it comes down to it, the culture is all about communication, inclusivity, feeling safe, and just they want to feel needed. And if a club treats them like they're just another number, they'll go. And I'll look at how Sarah Hudson's, what she's doing up at Kalani at the moment. that's how she was taught at Ocean Beach. Ocean Beach was a women's only club, and what she's doing up there is exactly what Ocean Beach did.
Yep.
And hats off to her; they're doing it the right way.
Yeah. And reaping the rewards.
They're reaping the rewards, right? So it also helps when they know each other and they all get together. But the culture that she's built, and that culture is inclusivity. You're in a safe space. That's what it comes down to. So, like the amount of numbers on the Central Coast. Clubs really just need to look at that, making sure they've got a change room. Even if you stagger time, like where we stagger the times.
Yeah.
I've told my boys, right, this is what time the girls are coming in. Reserve grade are out, girls are in. First grade, you wait.
Yep.
And they're like, okay. That's just how it's going to have to be.
That's right, yeah.
Until I get a grant for 2 more change rooms at the back, this is how you're going to have to share it because our club room's our club room. So that's, it's just the whole club has to be on board with the culture.
It's funny you mentioned even something as simple as girls' shorts. I think the first year we did North-South out here, we just ordered the kit. And when the girls turned up, it was like down to their knees and it's like they're folding it 5 or 6 times. And like, okay, for next year we know now different sizes or different makes. So, yeah, like just a simple gesture like that can make them feel so much more comfortable.
It's huge. Even when Lightning, when I was on the board the first time and looking after the girls' Lightning squads, we used to call it the lightning roll because they would roll their shirts so much it'd be like a chunk of elastic. But there was no such thing back then. The companies hadn't jumped on board. Like when we first went to Zabara, Donna and I went a couple of years ago to speak to them about getting women's cut, and they looked at me and went, "What do you mean?"
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah, they bought out a pair of running shorts. I went, "That's not women's cut." So we had to get them a pair of Nike shorts to kind of like show them the cut.
Yeah.
And that's what they come up with. So, yeah, I think it's also the companies have to jump on board. But if definitely. The clubs, and it doesn't cost you any more, if the clubs can jump on board, that just helps them so much. Like when I was playing in the 80s, you have to have 2 inches below your buttock. Now they're up your wahoo. But, that's really important. But the culture thing is club culture is important across the board. But if you can get the girls on board, you're good.
Everyone who comes on here talks about whether it be a coach, president, it's culture, right? Especially on the Central Coast, culture is a big thing. So speaking more on Female Football Week, why do you think that initiative is so important here on the across the whole of Australia?
There's so many reasons to celebrate female football. For me, I'm one that you shouldn't just have a week to celebrate something, right? And that's just my old-fashioned head. But I'm more I think more about Female Football Week as celebrating the past, our achievements, and where the game's going.
Building for the future.
It's building the future. So that's why we're focusing on our mini roos because they are the future. And then we're trying to build the link between first grade and our mini roos. So if our first grade girls can interact with those mini roo girls, then that builds a bridge. Yeah. And there's a disconnect at our club between senior and junior because
that pathway isn't there.
Pathway's not there, but it also hasn't been the culture.
Yeah.
And that's how you got to rebuild it. So if we can get our first grade girls working with the juniors, and then they can see that there is a pathway. It's not just the players, it's the parents because you've got to sell it to the parents. If you don't get the parents on board, if they don't feel welcomed at the club, they'll go. So if they see like at Woy, they come up to me and say, "Oh, we're so happy to see a female president," and some of them like male, I'm like, "Oh, awesome!" I shake their hand and thank you so much. It's lovely to hear that. And like they've had it for the last 3 years because Donna was there for 2 years. But Female Football Week is a celebration of where we were, where we're going, and what the future can bring. And it's pretty bright. The future for female football is bright, not only on the Central Coast, but this Australia and the world.
Nationwide.
Yeah, it's huge nationwide. Like if you think about the A level W League, even watching the National Premier League on YouTube on the weekend, like Michael played Saturday night, I watched it on Sunday. The level is so much, like that exposure alone from Football New South Wales and putting on YouTube is awesome because then the girls can watch it and learn from there because a lot of people are visual learners. The best way to learn anything, and you know yourself as a footballer. it's repetition. So if you're watching something, it's repetition. That's how you're going to learn how.
Yeah.
It's drills. You do repetition. You do it 20 minutes until you get it right.
Mm-hmm.
So if they watch that and with a repetition, and then they'll go, okay, well, that's how I do that drill. But female football week is just it's widespread things that like every club's got something different going on. Like Doyleson have got their female development program going on. When I was at Gosford in 2019 doing their keeper academy, it was purely interview me and what did you do on the pass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the pass is always good, but how can that pass be passed on and create a better future?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to do with my background.
Yep.
And like if Renee would be sitting here or any of the girls from the past, they'd tell you the same things, how to right the wrongs from the past.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing.
And speaking more on your past, serving on the board as Central Coast Football, what was that experience like?
The first tenure, because it wasn't my first time was in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot different back then.
Yep.
You had a portfolio. So I was the first ever women's director back then. So that was the first connection between women's football and Central Coast football since 1999. And it was needed desperately. They had no voice, and it was the first thing I got told. They don't do anything for us. We get shitty grounds.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, let me just roll with it and see how we go. So then things got a bit rocky. The wheels fell off per se, and I made the decision to step away. So I went back to clubland. By that time, my son was playing at East Gosford, so I just stayed at East Gosford. Then he ended up going to Umina for a season or two, and then ended up Woy Woy. So I kind of like went on those
Followed
committees.
him,
So went on to Umina's committee as a football director there for a year, and then Michael made the decision to go to Woy Woy. So Woy Woy was never a club I played at, which I get reminded of several thousand times, but that's where I ended up.
Yeah.
My second tenure on the board was much more enjoyable. I made the decision to leave the committee at Woy Woy. I was burnt out. I'd had enough.
Yep.
So I just made a decision. Actually, Kerry Sweetman was the one that threw my name,
your name
into the mix. She sent an email to Alex and had a meeting with Scriney, and I got the green stamp. So no, it was awesome. Shane, Brett, Jeff, and Brett, they were all amazing. Like I said to them at my last meeting, it was a decision that was very hard for me to make because you're not advocating for your club, because the minute you step in the boardroom, you're there for 23 other clubs.
That's right. Yeah.
And the responsibilities are huge, but the decisions you're making are making the game better for the Central Coast. Even though the pundit out there may not think that, especially the changes removing reserve grade from the women's, there just wasn't the depth. It wasn't an easy decision to make, but I think it's been some quite clear notions that it has worked, and that's made the game stronger, and giving the smaller clubs a chance to have a Division 1, and to kind of mirror the men's.
Yep.
But I think, the time on the board was very enjoyable. Never had any problems, and hopefully one day when I've finished at Woy Woy and I want to come back on again, the clubs will take me back on as a board member. And I'd highly recommend it to anybody. It's not daunting by any means of the imagination. You just sit down and you talk football. There might be some political stuff that you've got to deal with, but seriously, If anyone's got the background around, you don't have to have a football background per se. It's just a background around finance or sporting culture and things like that's what we need. You've got a French polisher, you've got a school teacher, a gentleman that's worked in Parliament. It's like you look at it, our backgrounds in that board then, and they've all played some form of football.
Yeah.
But it's just a range, the whole range of backgrounds. It just gives a different feel. And you're always heard. There's not once in that boardroom where my opinion wasn't used or I wasn't listened to. I was always asked, what do you think?
Yeah.
And I had the ability to say that. So
Yeah.
definitely would jump back on again if I had the chance.
Yeah, well, you were the only female on the board during your time.
Yep.
How important are female voices in leadership roles within sport?
Oh, not only just in sport, but in general, they're so important. I think we just bring a different dynamic to a board or to a managerial role. Having the opinion, I think whether we bring a more calmer approach, probably people will be laughing right now knowing me. I'm not a well-known calm person, but I think we can think outside the box a bit more than sometimes men
just a different
can.
point
So
of view.
just a different point of view. A few times I threw out different ideas or opinions, and a lot of time mine was around culture. Because if we can change the culture, Central Coast football, and then it filters down. But it's always the opinions, and it's also the mum's touch. My grade boys always say I bring a mum's touch because it's more of an approachable. How can we do it another way?
Yeah,
and it's just a difference of opinion. That's all it comes down to. But females just bring a different vibe. I don't know what it is, but and like you got Stevie Skeen, who's a president at Southern. You had Sharon at Terrigal, and those clubs. Well, Stevie's doing an awesome job down at Southern. She's got a huge committee, and she's got them. Everyone's behind her. So I think that just shows that some women just have the ability to gather people
to lead
and and to get the job done. And I think that's why you need at least 2 or 3 people, especially females, to lead those roles. Because even with the board, like I'm glad to see there's a female on there now.
Yep.
But I think if we could get one more on there, just not to even it out, but just give that an extra difference of opinion, because even with the women's standing committee, we had 6 women and we all had different opinions.
Yep. All different experiences.
All different experiences. Right. But some women have never played the game. Sometimes that's good.
Yeah.
Because they're looking from a different perspective. I didn't play the game, so this is what I think.
As a spectator, this is how they see it.
As a parent.
Yep.
As a parent, they might like the way something's done, and then the people who are involved have to explain why it's done that way. But then she can say, well, but if you do it this way, and you go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Different point of view.
That's all it comes down to, just a different point of view.
And what advice would you give to someone who is thinking about either volunteering or joining a leadership position for a club?
You need to be reliable, and it is a commitment.
Yep.
But it's rewarding. Like you can walk away each weekend. Yes, you're going to be tired and probably smell like a barbecue, but it's the reward of seeing the kids walk past smiling. People saying thank you.
Yeah.
You're going to get people who are going to rub you up the wrong way and be rude, but that's just life in general. Like you can go to Woolworths and get the same treatment. But at that canteen, seeing people smiling at you, saying thank you, that's the reward, and it makes you feel good. I've done it for 14 years at Woi Woi. I've done it here, like have someone saying thank you to you, but it's not scary. You don't have to have a football background. You might bring other skill sets that are needed. Grant writing.
Yeah.
Huge need at the moment at any club. You need
Most
grant
definitely.
writers. We're lucky to have one at the club who's a parent. Grant writing, financial background. Like just because you don't play soccer doesn't mean you can be a treasurer.
That's right.
So those are the little bits that
don't need to know the game.
Yeah, and they sit in an AGM and they all hide, and you hand out the prescriptions of all the descriptions for all the roles, and they're sitting there looking at it, and their eyes are like this, and you say, well, what do you want to know? Well, what does this mean? and then you go tell them what the role is. But the role description can be so confusing.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of, for want of a better word, just break it all down and dumb it down and go, this is what we need you to do.
Yep.
Like secretary role, the executive roles are harder to fill because everyone knows that's the stress of the whole club that's where it is. But like canteen managers, just the senior men's and senior women's reps, they're normally your male and female first grade players.
Yep.
But just general committee members, that's what we lack at We're just the general ones. But we've created a way of having parents involved that don't have to be on the committee.
Mm-hmm.
So little subcommittees like looking after cadet refs, two mums look after that for us.
Mm-hmm.
Anything fundraising, they just get behind it and do it that way. So,
and I think Stevie said something similar when she was on that. It is time consuming, but it's the most rewarding thing.
100%.
Yeah. And a club can never have too many volunteers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Clubs are crying out for them.
But you don't need to sit on the committee. You can volunteer without being on a committee.
Yeah.
You're volunteering by ticking a box on the canteen roster saying, I'm going to be there for an hour to flip a snag or helping the canteen create a coffee. That's volunteering. And a lot of people don't think of it that way. Yes, people are time poor. I totally understand that. We all are.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can come down in the morning, pop up a goal, put some cones out.
Goes a long way.
100%, especially when you've got a small committee like Woy. As if we get a parent there who wants to put up the goals, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Here's a bottle of water. Do you need something to eat?
Yeah.
Like it's our gratitude back.
Yeah.
I think that's where clubs may fall down a bit. It's the thank you back.
Mm-hmm.
It's making sure that they know that what they've just done, that little bit of volunteering is way above what.
Yeah. It all helps.
Any little bit. I say many hands make light work.
Mm-hmm.
If I can get 3 people chucking out pop-up nets.
That's right.
That's fantastic. And that's always saying with a volunteer sign up, just volunteer for that hour, and that hour is going to be exactly what I need when I'm trying to run a club.
So this year we are celebrating 50 years of our women's association.
Yep.
We've only currently got one woman in our Hall of Fame, Renee, as you have mentioned.
Yep.
Are there any names that come to mind that maybe could be next on the list?
I've mentioned them in the chat. It's just definitely Sharon Dewar. Sharon played at Ocean Beach for several years after moving up from Sydney. And Cassandra Kell, for sure, the goalkeeper, played at the Olympics in 2000. And our most recent Matilda, Hannah Brewer. Hannah started at Berkeley Vale, then transitioned to Lightning, and then made the step up into A-League, with the W League, playing for Newcastle and Melbourne, and she's also played overseas in America. So she's our most recent person that definitely player that would definitely be one of the nominees. So we'll be getting together with a small little committee to make some decisions around who we think we should nominate to the board.
Yep.
Central Coast Football will be putting out some information around who they would be requesting. Like anyone wants to nominate somebody, there is a criteria that has to be met. But they definitely are the 3 nominees in my mind that should get
deserve
a photo on the wall with Renee and to equal it up a bit. Especially with the criteria that they've matched the criteria. I think Hannah probably would have the highest criteria, especially with her background with W League, because back in the 80s there was no W League, or we played in Sydney. That was about it. But definitely those 3 ladies definitely deserve to be to get recognition. There's other young ladies that played junior Matildas back in the 80s and 90s that would deserve a nod as well. And I encourage any pundit out there that when the post goes up from Central Coast Football, any nominations, to get their nominations in and to let us know their background, because I know there's plenty out there.
Yep.
I know who they are, but we just need to throw their hat in the ring and see where we're at. But 50 years is really important. for women's football, especially celebrating where we were and where we are now, going from playing games at Fagans Park constantly to now being able to play our grand final on Plume Park, which is huge. So definitely those three. But yeah, like I said, do encourage people to send in their nominations once that opens up, and we'll sit down and have a chat with this. There's 7 of us, including a life member. So we'll get together and sit down with Alex and null it all through and get some names out there for everybody.
Yeah, no better way to celebrate 50 years than inducting a female into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to get more than one.
Yeah.
I think it'll be well deserved. It's been a while since anyone's been inducted into the Hall of Fame. I know we on the board last year we discussed it at length, trying to figure out what we could do. But yeah, if we could get 1, 2 or 3 on there, of course that's up to the board. They're the ones that've got to approve it. But we'll be putting in some strong nominations and the reasons why and why they fit the criteria. And fingers crossed, the chairman's dinner will have some happy people sitting on the stage.
And as we get to the end here, got some quick fire questions.
Yeah.
Reflecting on it all, what is your favourite memory from playing on the coast? Or even doesn't have to be in a playing aspect; it could be as a volunteering aspect. But is there one favourite memory?
Oh, geez, Adam. Oh. Too many. Playing memory would be definitely winning the national championships up in Queensland, and that was with a lot of my friends I played with on the coast. And then personally, as a part of a club, it's life membership at Woi Woi. Back in 2024, that's the recognition that
that meant a lot.
Yeah, that meant a lot to receive that medal, but. Yeah, probably 1987 was a huge year. So definitely that year, and then the life membership.
Hard to top that one.
Oh that was a big, and we drove up in a bus that year, so it was a huge July that year, but that's probably the biggest memory. Yeah.
And one word to describe women's football right now.
Exciting. Yeah, it's exciting. The whole premise. Where the Matildas are at, and this the flow-on effect from the Matildas down to state level, even going and watching some of the girls at the state teams, and you can just feel the vibe is just totally different. And then when you come to club level or CCF level, like being Female Football Week and getting things together, you can see the exposure that is coming through there. But it's just what the clubs are putting in as well. Like Doyleson are awesome with their socials and around pushing women's football. Kalani, Southern. If everyone wants to take a leaf out of their book, do that, because that's the excitement. You get behind it, push the game.
And the Matildas, like just for these young girls to have these role models. I remember, I think it was when we hosted the World Cup year, and then we had finals that year. It was middle of September. It was a hot day. And then you got girls wearing gloves like Mary Fowler because they look up to these players. It's such an awesome sight to see.
They do. And then like even I said about like with Renee, like I idolised her as a 14-year-old, 13, 14-year-old, because she always would encourage me to be a better goalkeeper. And what other better way to get encouraged by a then current Matilda telling me how to defend against her.
Yeah.
And she always would say to me, "You're the only one who would come out to me because you would attack the ball."
Yeah.
And it's that ongoing encouragement, and watching the Matilda alumni at games, even they get swamped for autographs, and I just stand there and watch them, and I love it because they still get recognised.
Yeah.
By girls whose mums probably weren't even born when they were playing.
Yeah.
And that's the best, and they know them by name. So that's the exposure, and that's why it's so exciting, because it's becoming a bigger animal than the Socceroos, and that's awesome, because who would have thought that women's football would become a bigger entity than the men's football?
Yeah, than the men's national team.
Correct.
Most important quality in a volunteer.
Definitely patience, because you're dealing with people every day. But definitely the patience is important. I don't have a lot of patience, but you have to learn to be patient, especially when dealing with people that are new to the game, don't understand rules, or why, if I've got two kids playing, why aren't they playing at the same field at the same time? You've got to sit down with them, explain that slowly to them so they get the idea of what's happening. So you've got that. But, yeah, probably the biggest quality is patience, reliability, and then the commitment, just to commit to doing that. But everyone's got some qualities out there. Those are probably be the three.
One final question. When you look back from where you started in playing football to where it is now, the game, what makes you most proud?
The growth and just the level of where it is now. And I mean the growth is in having girls playing at 5, whereas I had to wait till I was 11.
Yeah.
The numbers and the different age groups. Like I said, I was 12 playing 15s. There was no under 11s, 12s, 13s. It was you played 15s and then you played all age. And as it got bigger, we had the 17s age group. But a lot of them just wanted to play senior football because it was more competitive.
I think you even look back to maybe 5 years ago to think that we'd have all girls mini Rouge teams. Seemed like so far away, yet now it's every age group.
Yeah, I remember when it was announced. We were at the Hawkesbury and Alex had brought it up. And I wouldn't say it was a negative response, but a lot of clubs didn't think it would kick off. And it kicked off big time, to the point where it was like, well, I think it was started off with 7s and 9s, and now it's right through.
Yep.
But that's that women's 35s, and even the depth of women's all age, like it just keeps going. And the amount of phone calls I got even this year about, we're trying to get a 35s together. I said, well, stop pinching my players. I'm trying to get 35s together too.
Yeah.
And having a chat with Stevie saying, well, we're trying to get one together. Have you got any leftover players? So that's the best thing about women's football. If you need players, you can just ring a club and say, hey,
work together.
What do you got left over? Or if you got any players that have got nowhere to go, or I've got a player that's just rang me, like, can I push you away?
Yep.
But it's just it's the growth.
Yep.
That's the most important thing. And back in the day when I was playing, like, the Matildas had to borrow gear and then they had to give it back. Financially, like, I remember getting my first selection letter and taking it home to my parents and watching them open to see how much it was going to cost for me to go to Tasmania for a week. And then learning that Renee had to hand a pair of socks back in and a pair of shorts back in because they didn't get to keep it. But they had to raise money to get to Taiwan or wherever they were going that year. And now knowing that it's still expensive to play football, but it's not as expensive as it was back then.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, thank you very much for coming on.
No worries.
Obviously, wish Boy all the best for this season and
the
seasons ahead.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Di. Appreciate it.
No worries, buddy.
I'd like to introduce our next guest, joined by the safe hands between the sticks for Southern's WL team. Welcome to the pod, Elyse Vella.
Hello, how are you going?
So, new club this year. How's life at Southern treating you?
Yeah, it's great. All the girls are so nice. Our coach team is great. So, having a good time so far.
And I believe playing in Newcastle last year, what was the reason behind the move coming to the coast?
I changed clubs at the beginning of this season and the culture just wasn't great at the club that I went to. And I'm not looking to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours each way and have bad culture. I did a bit of a trial with Southern and everyone was so nice. I was just like, yep, that's for me. I mean, I live on the coast, so it was already a bit of a hike going up there every week. And
Tamar Manser, as the coach this year, made the move from Kincumber to Southern. Are you able to give us an insight to what he's like as a coach and what he expects from the players each week?
Yeah, he's a great coach. He obviously expects us to put in 100%, which is completely fair. I think it's just like building on the squad, maybe not attending as much training and everything as in previous seasons and trying to build on that and get that professionalism into the squad and obviously make a pathway for the younger girls to come up into as well. I think he's doing a really good job at encouraging that with the girls. We have pretty good attendance at training and everything now. So, yeah.
And we're 5 rounds into the season. You start the year with 3 wins, 2 losses. What have you made of those opening games so far?
I think we're doing great. I think we're doing better than people expected us to do, which is kind of good because we were the dark horse and we've come out doing way better than anybody expected.
And a tough result on the weekend. Obviously, 2-1 against the league leaders is a commendable result, but they just got over the line. When reflecting on that result, what sort of went wrong, if anything, or were they just a very strong outfit?
Yeah, they're just a strong team. But I mean, your minor lost to them, was it 5-0 or something the week before? I think that was a great result for us. It was a lot of pressure, I guess, being top of the table clash and all of that kind of thing. But I'm really proud of what everyone did and what all the girls did, and everyone kind of rallied together and fought really hard for that. It's weird to say that we fought hard for a loss, but I think coming in with such a low scoreline against a team like that is a great result, especially only being 5 rounds in with a brand new team, new coach, all that kind of thing. So,
and you look at the team last year, obviously you weren't a part of that, but it was a last place finish for the girls that were involved. How's the team feeling at this stage of the season?
Yeah, I think everybody's starting to realise that we can actually be in this and make top 4, and that's kind of helping with that attendance at training and everybody actually starting to get hungry for those wins and put in the work, which is really great to see. I think we've already won more games this season than what they did all of last season. So, yeah, it's looking really promising. I'm really proud to be part of that.
And what do you think the biggest challenge for the team has been so far after the opening 5 rounds?
Just everybody's starting to gel together. Obviously, being a new team, everybody's got to get to know each other, get to know the coaching style. Again, getting like numbers to training and all of that kind of thing. They were probably our bigger. And then we've come into this and people are having injuries and sickness as you do at the start of every season. It's coming into winter. Some of the fields aren't great, so you have a few knees and ankles at the start of the season, but I think we're still pushing really hard. Even when those players aren't available, everybody's still getting around each other. And
you mentioned earlier top 4. Is that the squad's goal for this year, or are you looking to push further now that you're 5 rounds in?
Oh, who doesn't want to go further? Definitely top 4 is the minimum. But if we can get further, that would be great.
And on a personal note, do you have any goals for the season ahead?
Just to keep improving my game. I think that should be everybody's personal goal, to always do better than you did the week before.
And looking forward to this weekend, you play East Gosford. Currently, you're on the same points with the same goals scored, same goals against.
Yeah.
What are you anticipating from last year's grand finalist?
I didn't see them play last year, so it's hard for me to say. All I can do is look at how we're playing this year and the teams that we've gone up against that were supposed to be really hard for us, and I can see that we did really well. So I just expect that we'll just play our game and play well and hope that we can come away with the win. I think we can come away with the win.
And another Saturday night fixture. You've had quite a few this year. How does the team enjoy those Saturday night fixtures? Is it?
Look, some of the girls like to go to bed early. Some of them like it. I personally like playing a night game. I think it's nice to play under the lights and you're there at the same time as the men, so there's a good crowd. It's a good energy, but
different atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, looking forward to this weekend. Now, you've played most of the team so far already, so we'll get you to go through the fixtures and we'll break them down and maybe get some score predictions from you. First game, we have Terrigal versus Umina at Duffy's Oval. How do you see that one playing out?
I think Terrigal's got it.
Yep.
They have a pretty strong squad. They might not be coming out getting the results that they wanted straight away this season, but again, new coach, new players on the team. So, I
time
Terrigal
to gel.
For that one. Yeah.
Do you have a score prediction for us?
2-1.
2-1?
Yeah.
Moving on, we have at Pat Morley, we have the entrance and they're hosting Kincumber. How do you see that one playing out?
Probably Kincumber's way, maybe 4-0.
Coming off a big win last weekend, Campbell, they're hosting the league leaders, undefeated Kalani Val. What do you think of that matchup?
I think Kalani's going to get them.
Tough to go past Kalani.
Yeah, I'm going to say 5-1.
And then last but not least, our match of the round for the second week in a row, Southern. So Saturday night, hosting East Gosford, last year's grand finalists. You already sort of broke down what you're anticipating from them.
Yep.
But can I get a score prediction?
It's got to be a win. Hopefully a clean sheet.
Hopefully a clean sheet.
I'm going to say 3-0 our way.
And do you have a message for your girls ahead of the weekend?
Let's go get them. I'm really proud of everything that everyone's done so far, and I think we can keep pushing and make it all the way to the top 4.
Thank you for coming on, and all the best for the season ahead and for this weekend.
No worries. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We have another great round in our NPL fixtures as we gear up for round 6 this weekend. 2 teams with quite the history will meet on Saturday night at Mingara Oval. The home side Berkeley Vale and the visitors Camberwell are both in search for their 3rd win of the season, and this fixture in the past has always been one not to miss. We have a derby match between Gosford City and Wyoming at Gavenlock Oval on Sunday at 2:45. Gosford are coming off a draw, but are still in search for their inaugural win since rejoining the NPL competition. Also on Sunday at 2:45, we have 2 teams looking to bounce back into the winners column when Umina host Kalani at Umina Oval. Coming off a huge 3-0 win in round 5, Toga looked to secure back-to-back victories for the first time this season when they welcomed last place Arimba, who looked to rebuild after a double-digit loss at the hands of Budgie last weekend. We have to wait until next Wednesday for our match of the round when we get a 2025 Grand Final rematch between league leaders Budgie, who travel down to the peninsula for a battle with Southern and Ettalong. With both teams occupying both spots at the top of the table at this stage of the season, it's sure to be a blockbuster contest when they collide next week. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Coast Football Weekly. Please remember to like and subscribe on YouTube and leave a rating and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We'll catch you next week for another episode.